We've been ignoring Montreal, haven't we? Yeah, there are a number of trade rumors and other ideas that I have been focusing on the past few days, so I apologize to all the Canadiens fans that want to see the latest and greatest from some of Montreal's offerings at the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. In today's video, I wanted to dive into just a few of these notes, some of the guys, and where we can see them in this upcoming tournament that's set to starting, I think, tomorrow? That's when it is? Wednesday, Feb 11th? Yeah, the Olympics has been on for a few days now, but these men's ice hockey teams didn't actually arrive until earlier. So, let's start things out with, I think, most people's home country's representative, Nick Suzuki. I say most people because I know most of the people that watch these videos are in Canada. Take a look at the graphic posted by Team Canada on Nick. He's wearing number 10. Because, unfortunately, Bo Horvat's got number 14. He wouldn't want to go back to 53. That number reminds him of his old Vancouver days. But Nick Suzuki from London, Ontario, part of the London Junior Knights AAA club. What 3 words describe your game? Intelligent, versatile, poised. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. All 3 of those words, I think, generally have an umbrella-like meaning that can be applied to Nick Suzuki's game. What is your advice to the new players just getting into the game? Don't take it too seriously. It's best when you're just having fun with your friends. And what does it mean to you to wear the maple leaf? It's something I'd read about my whole childhood, and it's such an honor. Now, talk about vanilla answers, eh? That is absolutely the most basic standardized questionnaire that Nick Suzuki could have given to the Team Canada folks, but that's okay. Nick Suzuki was never really an extremely outspoken and bizarre, idiosyncratic guy. He was always just kind of cool, calm, collected, very normal, if you might say. Intelligent, versatile, and poised, if you really wanted to use his own words. Don't take the game too seriously. Meanwhile, Nathan MacKinnon behind him. Yeah, that's absolutely the case here. Shifting gears over to Team Slovakia. You had yourself some updates for Slaf, and what's going on over here? Turns out he was kind of acting as the power play coach for Team Slovakia over here. Apparently, during the power play practice, Slaf was talking the most and was explaining a lot of these things to his teammates with power play coach Todd Woodcroft. You, be more like Hudson. You, be more like Demidov. Okay, that's kind of a little bit too much now, isn't it? I see more of Marty in each player every day. Habs power play does pretty well, and I'm sure he's got plenty of teachings from Marty St. Louis to share with them. And that does seem to be the case here. If Slafkovsky is one of the main guys that is stepping out there and dictating what this team does on the man advantage, it will give Team Slovakia a pretty big leg up on the competition. Might I remind you, when JURAJ SLAFKOVSKY played for the Slovaks 4 years ago, he ended up getting the bronze medal. That was great, and of course he was super productive in that tournament. 7 goals, 7 assists, if I recall correctly. He led the entire tournament in goals, did he not? Okay, yeah. He led the tournament in goals and points, and was last in assists. But other than that, these numbers, obviously, they'll probably look a little bit different this year. I don't think the top guy in the tournament in points is only going to be at a point per game. I mean, last time the NHLers were at the Olympics, you did see a little bit more production out of some of the top guys, Phil Kessel, Erik Karlsson, but then again, hockey in this era was very low scoring in general, so I would expect guys like Nick Suzuki and potentially Slafkovsky to outdo themselves versus what they had done in previous international tournaments. Suzuki, of course, not a part of Team Canada at the Olympics in the past, but he was on the World Junior team. 3 points in 5 games. That's the only other time he has represented Canada in his pro career, unless you count the Canada White U17 team back in 2016. But either way, Slafkovsky, he's looking pretty good. He's got that smile on. He wants another medal. he has gone out there on a line alongside of Tomáš Tatar and Adam Ruzicka. According to Slovak media, Slav is going to play on the first line along with these guys. The info is per the training lines. Yup, we don't got too much to choose from here. And that, I think, is not really a dig at anybody. It's just, hey, Slovakia, that's the group of guys that they have. Tomáš Tatar is obviously a blast to the past for Canadiens fans. He was the flag bearer as well for Team Slovakia as they ended up going out there on the Olympic walk. I was kind of thinking, I was like, why did they not showcase that on the NHL social media? Like, they showed Pasternak, they showed Draisaitl, they showed Nino Niederreiter, but I was like, hey, what about Tatar? Didn't realize that the guy's been out of the NHL for a season, so yeah, blast to the past for sure, but Tomáš Tatar is now playing in the Swiss League for EV Zug. He's a point-per-game guy, after being a 17-point guy with New Jersey. And yeah, the top comment over here in the Reddit, Tomáš Tatar. Yeah, baby, absolutely. That's the way to go here when it comes to Tatar. Speaking about lines, this is what Nick Suzuki's combination looks like. He's with Marchand and McKinnon. That's a pretty good line. And honestly, any of these four lines look like they could be the best for Canada. I mean, we already spoke about this the other day, but Crosby, Stone, Marner, McDavid, Celebrini, Wilson, McKinnon, Marchand, Reinhart, Suzuki, Marchand, McKinnon. So some mix in there with the 14 forwards. Add in Brandon Hagel, add in Sam Bennett, Jarvis, Bo Horvat, and you have the forward core for Team Canada. And Suzuki has himself a really nice opportunity. If he's going to be skating out there with Brad Marchand and Nathan McKinnon, if he goes out there and says, hockey is best played when you're having fun, it's obviously his line mate Nathan McKinnon that says the opposite. No, screw that. You gotta go out there and win. I would assume McKinnon is down the middle, Marchand's on the left, Suzuki is on the right as a right-handed guy. This is a player who, at a current pace of way over a point per game in the NHL season, I would not be surprised if Nick Suzuki sneakily found himself as one of the more productive players on this Canadian squad. That is not to slight Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, and others, but if Suzuki is getting fourth-line matchup minutes, I honestly don't think it's impossible that he is one of the top guys in overall points. Now, obviously, this is a very difficult group of guys to beat out. I mean, you have three of the top points scorers in the NHL, so obviously he's going to have his work cut out for him. But obviously there's a lot to like out of Nick Suzuki and the guys that he is playing with, so we'll see whether or not that actually does go through. And then finally, speaking about lines, this is Oliver Kapanen, who unfortunately is not being used as one of the top 12 guys for Team Finland. Rantanen, Hintz, Granlund, Lehkonen, Aho, Teravainen, Luosterainen, Lundell, Kakko, Tolvanen, Haula, Armia, and then you have Oliver Kapanen and Joel Kiviranta as the extra forwards there. Pretty strong team, honestly. Like, they're not Canada up front, but they have pace, they have skill, they can go out there and do some damage. We'll see whether or not Oliver Kapanen is going to get a significant portion of game time here in the tourney. But with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these updates on Nick Suzuki, JURAJ SLAFKOVSKY, Oliver Kapanen at the 2026 Milano Cortina Winter Olympic Games? Let me know in the comments, how do you expect these guys to fare? I hope you enjoyed this video. 9 and bye.